What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Upper Tier podcast and the Women's Wrestling Recap Weekly. We are back this week with another absolutely delicious week in women's wrestling. That's speaking in chef terms, of course. Um, yeah, we have a great show in store. As you can see, we've got Clash in Italy coming up in just under 48 hours this Sunday. We've got some big news in the world of UK independent wrestling, and we are just on the fallout of Double or Nothing. Let's get right into it, folks. Let's kick it off with some Progress Wrestling, a company we have yet to talk about on the show. We have not talked about it yet, and some fantastic news. It links in with women's wrestling this week, so I said I would bring it up. Nikki Storm, also known as her actual name, Nicola Glencross, or as she was known in WWE as Nikki Cross. Her and her husband, Big Damo, who used to be in WWE himself, former NXT Tag Team Champion. I'll let you guys guess which tag team. One of the greatest tag teams in NXT history, in my opinion. But her and her husband bought Progress Wrestling, which is absolutely amazing. If you guys don't know, Progress Wrestling is based over in the UK. It's an independent promotion and it is absolutely brilliant. Always great shows. I haven't got the opportunity to go to a show yet, but I'm hoping that sometime in the near future I will definitely get to go to a show. And Nikki Cross, or should I say Nikki Storm, as she's now going by, will not only be appearing on her first independent show in over 10 years, but she will be appearing as co-owner, which is very, very cool. We absolutely wish both her and Damo the absolute best running the company. I know because they both have such amazing experience on the independent scene and have seen all aspects of wrestling in general, that they will absolutely run the company perfectly and will give the fans what they want. So yeah, we'll see over the next while how things go, and the absolute best of luck to them. Next up, folks, AEW Double or Nothing. What a fantastic show it was, and it certainly was fantastic for the women. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think we only had 2 women's matches on the card, which is kind of sad. We had the Owen Hart Cup tournament, the women's tournament, which we see Athena has advanced in the tournament, so she will be competing next week again for, I think, the semi-finals. I could be wrong. I'm not keeping up to date too much with it. But I'm kind of hoping Athena goes all the way. Maybe she could end up winning. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she will be facing the wild card, the highly anticipated wild card in the tournament. Could it be the return of a Miss Mercedes Moné? We'll find out. So yeah, great to see Athena advancing in the tournament. I think she's done a fantastic job as both Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and just wrestling in general. I think since being bumped to Ring of Honor, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, we kind of know Ring of Honor's history at this point, and it's not really living up to that as of late. So it's great to see someone like Athena running the brand and, still doing her absolute best to carry the, show on her shoulders and the brand on the shoulders, the title on her shoulders. So it's fantastic to see the effort she's really putting in, and you can tell she is doing absolutely fantastic. Now, folks, I was going to say Hikaru Shida. Tekla, the AEW Women's World Champion, retained back at Double or Nothing against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Hikaru Shida, all former world champions. So, in my opinion, now I haven't heard anyone talking about this, but in my opinion, I kind of see this as the four pillars match of the women's division. I know Tekla only signed with the company just a few months back, but she has already made herself a household name for AEW, I think, already. She's done an absolutely fantastic job as champion, and I don't think it was her time to lose the title. I'm kind of hoping we see her maybe take it all the way to All In, maybe, and lose it against the likes of Alex Windsor or somebody like that, a hometown hero maybe. And I'm excited to see what match we get for All In, and hopefully Tekla walks in as champion. I will be at All In. I will be indeed all in. Wink, wink. That was a good joke there. That was a good joke. If you're not laughing right now, you should be, because I tell you, if Bren was here, he would be laughing his ass off. I can tell you that much. So yes, I will be at All In, and I will be very excited to see what women's matches we get. And obviously I'll give a wee preview on the channel of what matches we will have to look forward to on the women's side leading to All In August. So as I said, I kind of seen this as a bit of a four pillars match. You know, you had Hikaru Shida, you had Chris Statlander, and you had Jamie Hayter, all former world champions and fantastic world champions at that. And overall, I thought this was a brilliant match, if I'm being honest. I think it was probably one of the strongest women's matches of the past few years, the past few months even, more or less. And I really think all the women kind of pulled all the cats out of the bag and left all in the ring, you know. So it was absolutely a fantastic match. I really enjoyed it. And if I'm being honest, there's not too many matches I'd say that I'd go back and watch again, but I think this is probably one of them. I would definitely go back and watch this match over again, without a doubt. Now, I feel like, controversial opinion, folks, don't kill me, I feel like the AEW roster has been lacking a bit. Due to no fault of their own, I think Tony Khan has just given not just women in general, but the whole company too many titles, and now they don't know what to do with them. So it's quite sad at the same time, and everybody can't be a champion, but I think Tony Khan thinks, you know, if I have the money and I can create the belts, everyone can be champion, which I don't think is the right attitude to have. Then you're not getting the best matches in terms of quality and dream matches and just good matches overall, to be honest. That being said, though, look, the women of AEW were just taking what they're given and they're running with it, and it's good to see. Overall, quite a solid job done the past few months, I think. But I'd like to see storylines kind of divert away from the likes of Chris Statlander just for a while. I feel like she's been very TV strong, kind of the same as Rhea Ripley in WWE, you know, very storyline strong and storyline driven. And there's absolutely no harm in that, you know, have your big stars in the matches and on the cards and on the shows all the time. That's kind of the point of it. But eventually fans are going to get to the point where they might turn on her and eventually get sick of her. And we don't really want that. Obviously, you want to kind of encourage and bring up new talent like Tekla. And I'm kind of glad Tony Khan, you know, seen how good she was and stuck the title on her and striked while the iron was hot, you know. So I'm praying to kind of do the same with the likes of Alex Windsor. She's a massive standout to me in AEW as of late. I think her work has been fantastic, and I would like to see her win the world title at All In. I'd love to see the likes of Mercedes Moné back. I think her work in AEW was also brilliant, and that's another very controversial opinion, but I quite enjoyed her work. Athena, strip her of the Ring of Honor title and have her on AEW a lot more, because she's well fit for it. She can hang with the best. So there's no point having her on a brand where, excuse my language, but nobody gives a shit about. So get her onto AEW, get her onto the card, and get her in storylines and matches. Overall, I think fantastic work from the women in AEW as of late. I'm quite enjoying the storylines, and yeah, congratulations to Athena and Tekla. Now we're about to move on here. If you look at the bottom of your screen, folks, Fatal Influence, we see Miss Jacy Jayne, one of my absolute favourites in WWE at the moment. Fatal Influence as a whole. And we don't talk about them enough on the show. And as I said, they're my absolute favourites in WWE at the moment, along with Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca. I'd say between those three women, Becky and Sol, hands down my favourites in WWE. Certainly at the moment anyway. And I absolutely loved Fatal Influence's run in NXT. I thought it was unbelievable. And they were a standout group and just standout characters in NXT. Very consistent every week, great matches, great promos, and really leaving it all in the ring and putting themselves out there. And that's what you want in NXT, if there's any time to try something new, it's in NXT. And a lot of people say that, the likes of Raw and SmackDown crowds and all that are hard on their wrestlers, etc. And very critical and judgmental. But I think the NXT crowd would be more judgmental. And if you really do want to try something, NXT is the place. And I'm glad that Jacy Jayne took that leap and formed Fatal Influence. I think was a fantastic idea. And it just proves it on SmackDown how well they're doing as of late. Since debuting, the crowd absolutely hate them, which is brilliant because they're heels anyway. That's what you want. But back to the little photo here. 1 year ago yesterday, so a year and a day, 1 year ago yesterday, an absolutely shocking moment happened in NXT. Just on a weekly NXT episode, Jacy Jayne went one-on-one with the current then NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer for the title, and shockingly won the title. This was an absolute stellar match in my opinion, and extremely unexpected. You could tell every single person in that crowd was in shock. Nobody saw it coming, and that's exactly what you want in wrestling. I think a lot of wrestling is missing that nowadays. Everything's kind of spoiled by dirt sheets or reports on Twitter, Instagram, etc. And it really just takes the fun out of wrestling. Debuts or title changes are going to happen before they even happen. And that's what I absolutely hate. I think wrestling Twitter has ruined wrestling in general. And that's why I loved this little bit so much of Jacy beating Stephanie, because no dirt sheets knew about it. Nobody knew about it. The fans didn't know about it. And it was just a genuine surprise, a genuine shock. And a good shock at that, because the crowd took to it so well. They were so happy for Jacy. They loved seeing her getting the title. It was mixed reaction. It was, oh crap, Stephanie lost the title and we loved Stephanie as champion. But thank God Jacy won the title. I'm so happy she won, etc. So it was that kind of on the fence, 50-50. You're sad Stephanie lost, but you're ecstatic that Jacy won. And that was exactly me. I don't know about anyone else. But I was already such a big fan of Jacy Jayne, and I think getting the NXT women's title was the cherry on top of the cake, if I'm being honest with you. So that happened a year ago yesterday, and a fantastic surprise it was. Please, WWE, if you hear this, give us more surprises, especially on the women's side of wrestling. We don't get surprises anymore at all. I think the top two surprises in the past few years was, Jacy beating Stephanie and Naomi attacking Jade. and then turning heel at Elimination Chamber. I think that was absolutely fantastic. It was a standout moment in women's wrestling, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just not commonly heard of anymore. So I'd love to see more of it. And let me know what you think in the comments too, folks. Um, I'm not seeing as much comments on the show, and I really, really love to hear everybody's opinion. So don't be afraid to leave a comment and chime in, or even send me a message. Let me know what you thought of the shows, etc. I'm always happy to reply and let everyone know what I thought. Not that you'd really care, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. And don't be afraid to, like the video and share as well, because the channel is growing more and more each and every day thanks to you guys. So don't be afraid to interact with us and like the videos and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Lastly, to close out the show, as I said, we have Clash in Italy this weekend, this Sunday, just 48 hours away. And I'm very excited for this. The lads will be doing a watch along on the channel, so do tune in and give the lads your full support. And it's a bit of company too. You get to watch the show with the lads, get to see their reactions. They get to hear your reactions in the comment section. So it's a blast overall. It really is fun. So don't forget to tune in. That is Sunday evening. Sadly, I am working. #chef life. So I will not be seeing the show or be on the watch along, which I am very upset about because I was very excited to watch Clash in Italy. But obviously things don't always work out, and that is okay. That is life. But two fantastic women's matches on the card so far, being Sol Ruca versus Becky Lynch for the women's intercontinental title, and Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Which one will we go to first? We'll go to Becky versus Sol, because this is the match I am most excited for in general on the card. I think Becky Lynch, I've said it time and time again, her work has been phenomenal the past 2 years, give or take. And obviously, her work was phenomenal before then, but just her heel run has just been beyond amazing. I think it's fantastic. She's easily the best in the business at the moment, in my opinion. And Sol Ruca isn't far behind, despite being so new to the Raw roster. Becky and Sol faced each other in a singles match at Saturday night's main event last week, and Sol Ruca won by disqualification. Jessica Carr, the referee, got taken out, so Sol ended up winning by disqualification. And then Sol and Becky got into a little altercation, and Sol said how she wants her shot at the title, that Becky's too scared to put it up because she knows that Sol will win and snatch her soul, etc. So now we are getting the match at Clash in Italy, and I could not be more excited for this match. This is another one that these matches, and I say this time and time again, that I'm really on the fence about some of these matches because they're two of my absolute favorites. So I don't know who to pick, and I'd be happy with either outcome, but I think we've got to put the title on Sol Ruca. And I won't be mad one bit if Becky retains, because I've absolutely loved her reign. I've loved her as champion. But it would absolutely be the icing on the cake if Sol Ruca won the title. Again, another case of striking when the iron's hot. I think now's the perfect time to put the IC title on her, and down the road, the world title. Give her every title on the roster. Sol Ruca is just that good. So I think I got to go with Sol Ruca to win and snatch Becky's soul. So we will see how that works out Sunday night. Also, we've got Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. This will be another powerhouse match. Obviously, we've seen this at WrestleMania, and it was quite an enjoyable match. But was it WrestleMania? Yeah, WrestleMania. But put the title back on Jade. I think a lot of people have agreed with me on this, and Niall on the podcast has actually agreed with me on this too. Rhea's reign has just been lacking so much. She hasn't been one bit interesting, and that's a very controversial take because I am a Rhea Ripley fan, but God, her reign has been beyond boring. She's done absolutely nothing with it. The character work just isn't there, and it just hasn't been enjoyable. And a lot of people would have said the same about Jade's run before Mania, that it was terrible. Just take the title off her. And it's very funny how things have just turned around so quick, because they wanted the title off Jade so bad. Fans wanted the title off Jade so bad. Get it off her. She's boring. She can't wrestle. She's useless. And now fans, just nearly, just over a month into Rhea's reign, and fans are practically begging WWE to put that title back on Jade, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Because if you look at Jade's work the past few weeks, it has improved so much, and you can tell the wrestling skills are there and they're starting to come out, and she's actually becoming interesting and building that character work. Everything that Rhea has been doing, but it hasn't been working for Rhea, which is very clear to see, because it's just been so boring the past few weeks. And I know people are going to, attack me over this and say, oh, Rhea's barely got time as champion. Of course, her character work isn't going to be great. I completely disagree. It's been an absolutely terrible run. And I'm one of those people practically begging WWE to put that title back on Jade, please. So that is why I'm saying, Jade Cargill, get that title back. I am absolutely rooting for her on Sunday. And look, if Rhea retains, I won't be mad either, but I would absolutely love to see Jade get that title back. And I really hope it's not a slap in the face. I really hope when she gets the title, if she gets the title back, that, we're not kind of biting our own lips here, being like, oh, maybe it was a bad idea to put the title back on her, So look, we'll find out Sunday. As I said, I'm not mad about whoever wins this, but I am leaning that little bit towards Jade. I feel like her work the past few weeks has been even more consistent and getting better every week. And the fans actually seem to be rooting more for Jade, which I am quite enjoying seeing. I feel like she's kind of getting that bit of respect now that she does actually deserve. I think fans kind of gave her too much shit before Mania, and they're kind of like, after looking at Rhea's reign, they're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have given her as much crap as we did. So look, two absolutely amazing matches to look forward to on Sunday, plus many more. Folks, that's it this week. I feel like I have ranted on for way too long. You are probably sick of hearing me at this point. Folks, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. We are just on the cusp of 2,000 subscribers, which is freaking amazing for the channel. Give the lads a look up on YouTube. They're absolutely flying the shorts out each and every day, and content. There is nearly a show every single day on the channel, and something to sit down, watch, enjoy, and relax to and wind down to, because our voices are so soothing. Thank you. Folks, this has been the Women's Wrestling Recap Weekly, and that is your chef's kiss for the week.